Okay, we're going to trace a line from a single absolutely deafening roar way back in 1878, all the way to the climate challenges we're facing right now. This is the story of natural gas, and trust me, its history is a whole lot louder and more revealing than you probably think.
So get this. That's how a historical marker describes a little town called Murrysville, Pennsylvania in 1878. This spot, just a bit east of Pittsburgh, pretty much became the violent, completely unexpected birthplace of the modern natural gas industry. And you know what? That quote? It might even be an understatement.
So what on earth happened there? Well, it all starts with two brothers, Michael and Obadiah Haymaker. They were drilling for oil, the black gold of the 19th century, but when they got down to about 1,400 feet, they didn't just strike gas. According to our source, they basically tore the lid off of a pressurized subterranean monster.
Can you even imagine that? A roar so loud you could hear it 15 miles away? This thing, which they nicknamed the Roarer, was just gushing. It was venting an estimated 30 million cubic feet of natural gas every single day, a completely uncontrolled fountain of raw, planet-warming energy just shooting straight into the sky.
But here's what's really wild when you look at it through a modern lens. This wasn't just some local industrial accident. No, in today's terms, the Haymaker Well was one of the biggest single greenhouse gas emission events of the entire 19th century. It was like a preview of the century to come, long before the first Model T ever even hit the road.
Let's just walk through this timeline for a second. The well just roars for months, spewing pure methane. Then, around the middle of 1879, the inevitable happens. It catches fire, and it burns for a year and a half. They couldn't actually get the thing under control until March of 1883. That's more than 4 years after it first blew.
So why was that initial blowout such a big deal? Well, the gas was methane. And you can think of methane as CO2's super potent cousin. Over a 20-year period, it is more than 80 times more powerful when it comes to trapping heat in our atmosphere. So the key thing to get here is, this wasn't just gas, it was a massive, massive injection of a super potent greenhouse gas.
And then came the fire, which was really just the next phase of this climate disaster. For a year and a half, this thing was a literal pillar of fire, turning all that gushing methane into a non-stop geyser of carbon dioxide. It lit up the Pittsburgh night sky so brightly that locals said it was, and I quote, as if it were day.
So fast forward to today. If you go visit the historical marker for the Haymaker Well, you can hop right on a bike path that takes you into a place called Duff Park. And it's right here, on this trail, where the evidence of that 1878 event and its legacy is just plain to see.
As you ride through the park, you literally see the results of our changing climate. You see these massive, ancient trees just ripped out of the ground by more intense storms. You have to be way more careful about ticks, which are thriving in the longer warm seasons. And what's underneath it all? Well, modern fracking wells are still pulling gas out from over a mile below your feet. The past and the present are literally layered right on top of each other.
And this brings us right to the core idea of this whole explainer. See, the problems from the Haymaker, well, they never actually went away. They just changed form. The roarer is still with us, it's just now it's invisible.
Back then, the problem was just impossible to ignore, right? It was a single, 100-foot-tall flame. It was a spectacle, a localized, tangible disaster that every single person could see and hear.
But today, that same fire is, well, it's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It's the invisible combustion happening inside millions of furnaces and power plants all across the world. The same CO2 emissions are happening, they're just spread out on this decentralized global scale.
This slide really breaks down the parallels. First, transporting the gas is still a huge problem. The modern roar isn't one giant well anymore. It's thousands of smaller, so-called fugitive methane leaks from all our pipes and infrastructure. And the fire? Oh, it still happens every single time we burn so-called clean gas, releasing CO2. The fundamental issues really haven't changed at all. And look, the cost isn't just measured in emissions. Modern gas extraction, or fracking, it brings a whole host of other hidden dangers that hit communities directly.
Take water, for instance. A single fracking operation can use millions of gallons of fresh water, and that water is permanently removed from the local water cycle. The source we're looking at even notes that during a recent drought, citizens were being asked to conserve water while withdrawals for fracking just kept on going.
And then you get to the health impacts. And this is where it gets really, really concerning. Study after study has found alarming connections between living near these unconventional gas wells and really serious health problems. We're talking higher rates of asthma attacks, poor birth outcomes, and even childhood cancers.
But the number that's truly staggering is this one, from a 2023 University of Pittsburgh study. It found that children living within just 1 mile of a well were 5 to 7 times more likely to develop lymphoma, which is a rare type of childhood cancer. 5 to 7 times.
So, where does all this leave us? I mean, the fossil fuels that started at places like the Haymaker well, they absolutely built the nation that we know today. But as we look back on that nearly 250-year legacy, we have to be honest about the fact that the bill for all of it is finally coming due.
And this bill, it's not some abstract thing in the future anymore. It's here. We're paying it right now. It's the huge surge in billion-dollar weather disasters. It's world record-setting winds that are way beyond what our buildings were designed for. And it's living through these unbelievable heat streaks, with 2024 now confirmed as the hottest year ever recorded. These aren't warnings. They're our daily realities.
And so, the source material leaves us with this really powerful question. From the roar of 1878 to the thousands of invisible leaks today, the promise of cheap, easy energy has always come with a hidden cost. The choice we have now is whether we're finally ready to pay that bill, or if we're just going to stand by and watch our food, our coastlines, and even our seasons slip away in the rearview mirror.